Congratulations, we have made it to 2026. Based on how the world's panning out, I do not think we have that many years left. So let's really try to make the most of this one while we still got it. The way I'm going to be doing that is by trying to predict what's going to be in 2026 and out in 2026. And I'm sure at least like 50% of this is going to hold up. I wrote this script, I'm looking at it, and there is so much more outs than there is ins. So we'll start with the ins. First thing, I think genre bending is going to be in 2026. You guys remember Skylanders? The one specifically that I'm talking about were the characters that you could cut in half and replace the bottom half and top half of every character with the bottom half and top half of any other character to make your own unique Skylander. That's what genre bending is in my mind. In 2025, we had Paris, Texas. They mixed rock and rap, boom, together to make a cool, unique sound. Then we had Alihasacoolus, who mixed in EDM and trap and sprinkle a bit of, I don't know, skinny blonde vampire into that. Boom, we have a new sound. What's really cool for me is that it makes these sounds that I wasn't the biggest fan of, like rock and EDM, more palatable. Skylanders walked so Alihasacoolus can run. Number 2 is using big words. I was having a conversation with a friend and they were describing someone and they used the word solipsistic. Solipsistic. I stopped the conversation and we sidebarred to what the hell does that even mean? I love having moments like that because now that person has ingrained that word into my word bank, into my, wait for this, lexicon, and now my vernacular has leveled up to new horizons. You can tell that I've already started going crazy with this. Talking is an art in my head, and I think that with the use of bigger words in the correct way, not just throwing words out there because they sound fancier, it makes hearing someone talk sound so much more beautiful. Third thing that's in 2026 is Facebook Marketplace. I realized last year that I do not need everything brand spanking new. And a lot of things, after you use them once, I'm thinking books mainly, you're never gonna use them again. And also a lot of the things you might be looking for aren't even in production anymore. So you literally can't get them from the people who used to make them. That's where Facebook Marketplace comes in. Nowadays, when I wanna buy something, I check if it's on Facebook Marketplace before I go to any of the major retailers. Also, I got a little high from bargaining down the price. I don't need to save that $5, but if I can, ooh, baby. This next one I initially had as an out, but after further analysis, I thought it would be an in. I think toys on your bag are an in. But I just think it's so cute when someone has a really posh leather bag and then they have a cute little plushy keychain on the side. I think it shows a lot of personality. Now, this can be overdone. If you are doing this for consumerist sake and putting 20 toys on your bag, I do not want to see that. It looks ugly. All right, now it's time for me to be a negative Nancy. Here are the things that I want out in 2026, baby. No more. We're done. Capacity reach. First out is being an influencer for the sake of being an influencer. Think of the word influencer, someone who influences things. Why would you give someone the merit to have an influential opinion when they haven't proven anything? I feel like you have to have some type of interesting output in society for people to want to listen to what you have to say. We've just seen people do influencing for the sake of influencing, and like, it's weird. It's weird. And I'll tell you why it's weird. It's because you go on these UGC influencers and their entire identity is being a billboard. They have no opinion, because if a brand is asking you, hey, come make a video for us at our restaurant, at our event, you really can't say you didn't like it. There's certain occurrences where that does happen, but most of the time, if you get invited for something for free, they're going to be completely glazing whatever that is in hopes of you getting more free things. You become an NPC. There is literally a trend going around of people mimicking these influencers and mocking them because they all sound the same. Run, don't walk, to blah, blah, blah. The next thing we are leaving in 2026 is reaction TikToks. Why are you as a consumer watching past the funny clip that is the eye-catching thing? You don't need someone to spend 47 seconds explaining a 13-second clip. There is no way that there's good enough commentary that you can add there to get past that 1 minute so that the person can get some ad revenue. And it's so annoying because they will literally say word for word what happened in the TikTok as if your retention is that bad that you're going to need someone to explain what you just saw.
Okay guys, so in that video, he was basically criticizing people who react to TikToks. Like, no way.
Third thing I want out in 2026 is 2016. I think it's a natural response to be so tied up in the past, especially when the future looks so scary. But 2016 was not the greatest year of all time. And if it was for you, man, please go outside, make new memories. I was thinking like that until, I don't know, 2022, 2023. I've had better years since 2016. But it's weird too, because even when you have a good year post 2016, people are saying, oh, is this as good as 2016? What was the government putting in the water for us to have such a fond memory of that specific year? I was 14. Not much was happening in 2016 for me. This goes on to my next point. I am tired of nostalgia bait. Another way 2016 kind of creeps into people's brains in the less obvious way is with nostalgia bait. Dude, we have amazing cameras. I'm shooting this on an iPhone. Stop using the iPhones with the buttons to take your photos. I appreciate the artistic expression until it feels like the nostalgia is becoming a crutch to whatever it is you're presenting. Next thing we're leaving in 2025 is aura. I am tired of people taking themselves too seriously to have a good time. No more low exposure photos on the timeline. No more not looking into the camera and looking at the floor or somewhere else entirely, as if you couldn't be bothered to stare at this camera, knowing damn well you went out of your way to take this fit pic. Guys, please, let's add some color into our wardrobes. There's a whole color wheel and you chose the one that's not even on it. I know black's not a color, but still. My next out is the Brat font. I do not hate the Brat font. I just think that it's been so overdone. The Brat font for us in 10 years is going to be what the meme font was in 2009. Brat, great album, really reflected a good moment in time, but we can go beyond that, guys. It's okay to leave it. Next out, dried fruit on charcuterie boards. There's a hierarchy on what you put on a charcuterie board based on just like what gets ate first. It goes meat, cheese, fresh fruit, crackers, and then just the dried fruit. Who the fuck is eating dried fruit on a charcuterie board? Imagine you got cracker, salami, brie. What the fuck would I need an apricot on that bitch for? Also, I think just swearing too much should be out in 2026. I feel like the swagger I got from being a potty mouth died when I was, I don't know, 17, 16. And now I find it much more cool and sexy to just use articulate words. Is that a sign of me becoming unk and becoming chopped? Maybe. But I would argue that we all know that one person who swears too much to the point where it just becomes exhausting to listen to. Looks maxing, gym maxing, just overall, this as a part of culture has got to go. Obviously, taking care of yourself, being in a good shape is a good thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to argue against that. I remember talking to a coworker I used to have who said he had a hard time getting girls. And I said, okay, well, what are some hobbies that you have? Girls like hobbies. And he said, oh, I like researching about Chinese growth hormone that'll help me get taller. This whole entire thing stems from men experiencing a little bit about the beauty standard that women have faced. And now that guys have to take a little bit of care of themselves, they've really just went 0 to 1,000 and have overdone it to the extent to where it's become this really unhealthy dynamic. I'm gonna speed fire through a lot of these, so bear with me. We're also leaving out cat's eye. I'm sure they're gonna be bigger. That's not gonna be good for society. If you have them on your playlist, I will put government sanctions on the aux from you. Mystery boxes. Snapchat, if it's not already been gone. Gurus. Following random people you don't know, and being on the detached irony pill where you can't take anything seriously. I think that's a good way to end off this list. Take yourself seriously, be corny, be free. Thank you so much for watching. I got new music on the way. Like, subscribe. See you next week.